After 5 months of strength training at home, I knew it was time to move my workouts to a gym. However, for me, going into a gym at age 59 after not having been in one for almost 20 years was a little bit, well, intimidating is probably the right word. That said, I figured out a pretty good way to navigate all that, and that's what I'll be sharing with you in this video. Oh, and if you stick around till the end, I'll also be sure to let you know the single biggest surprise I discovered along the way. Well, hey there. So this video is all about joining a gym, but I should back up just real quick and give you a little bit of a lay of the land. So about 10 months ago, I started strength training for the first time in my life. I had done other exercise and things in past years, many years ago, too many years ago, but this was new to me. And so what I decided to do is, instead of just going right in to join a gym, because I was kind of uncomfortable with that, which I'll get, we'll talk more about that in a minute. But I just thought, you know what, let me go ahead and get some basic equipment and I will work out at home. And it turned out to be about 5 months. And I knew it was time to go into the gym when my at-home workout equipment, I wasn't able to buy heavy enough weights and that sort of thing. But also, I just started to build a certain amount of confidence by working out at home. And I highly, highly, highly recommend doing that. If you want to get in shape, but you feel awkward about going to the gym, whether it's strength training or some other form of exercise, just do it at home until you can build up your confidence a little bit, and your stamina too. That was the other thing, is I wanted to build up some stamina before I went into the gym, because when I first started, I couldn't work out for nearly as long as I could work out by the five-month mark, right? So anyways, that's what I did to get started. And if you want to hear more about that story, about how I got started with strength training, kind of the steps I took to get started, I did do a video on that. I'll link to it below this video. So once I got to that 5-month mark, it was time for me to join a gym. And I knew that, like I said, because I wasn't going to continue to keep buying heavier and heavier weights for my house and so on and so forth. I needed more equipment. So I had more confidence, I had more stamina, I still had a few reservations, but I did work my way through those, and I'm going to share with you now the steps I took to do that, and I hope you find them really helpful. Okay, so the first thing I would recommend is, if you have the luxury of having more than one gym anywhere near you, the first thing you want to do is you want to tour them. You want to tour several of them if you can. You really want to find a gym that you like. You know what I mean? So you can call and you can schedule a tour on any gym, with any gym. And when you go in there, you want to pay attention to things just kind of like the general, starting with just sort of the general energy and the general vibe of the place. And try to go, but really important, try to go during the time that you would actually go to work out. So like if you're going to work out during the day on a weekend, that might be a good time to go. If you're going to work at night or work out at night after work, go do your tour then, or so that you can see what it's like when you'll most likely be there. And so, yeah, you walk in and you just take it all in. How is the lighting? Is the lighting obnoxious? Because some of them are. I mean, gyms are so different. There's so many different kinds of gyms. Over the years, prior to, back in my 30s and my 20s and stuff, I had been in lots of different kinds of gyms, and so I know that they're not all the same, not by a long shot. There's small ones, there's big ones, the whole thing. So pay attention to the lighting. Are you okay with the lighting, or is it horrible? And you're just like, oh, that's probably going to give me a headache by the end of my workout. Pay attention to the music. Is it way too loud? Is it not loud enough? Or is it just like crazy music that you would never want to listen to? That's something to think about, because even though you may have earbuds on, trust me, you will hear the music if it's too, well, even if it's at a decent level, you're usually going to hear it unless you have noise canceling headphones. Anyway, look at the people. Like, is it all like hardcore bodybuilders? Are you comfortable with that? Is it people of all different fitness levels? You can look around and you see all different kinds of just regular people getting fit. That's how my gym is. Oops, sorry, probably hit the mic. So pay attention to those kinds of things. And then, of course, you'll walk around and see, what's what. Ask lots of questions about what's this for, what's that for, what do you do in there, and do that for more than one gym if you have the opportunity to do that. So that's a big one. Find a gym that you really like, you just like the space and what they're doing there. Okay, the next thing is once you become a member, then what you want to do is you can schedule a time with the office staff or one of the trainers to walk you around the place and show you how different pieces of equipment work. Because I don't know about you, if you've been in a gym before and you look around at all that equipment, other than like the barbells and the dumbbells, which are obviously what they are, and kettlebells and all that, but I'm talking about the heavy equipment. You look at that stuff and at first glance, most of the time you cannot tell what that equipment is used for or how in the world it would even be used. And they do have little placards on them usually, but to be honest, they're sort of helpful, but not really. So yeah, just get a time with the person, with the staff, and have them walk you around and ask them, what does this machine do? Can you show me how it works? And just so you feel like you have some grasp on because what's going to happen is you're going to, and we'll get into that in a minute, but you're going to have workout plans that you'll do and things like that. And it will show you which equipment to do it on, but it's really helpful to kind of know the lay of the land. So you don't have to go around and look at 10 different machines to find the one you want to do the thing that's on your phone, right? So that's another helpful thing to do. So another thing you can do is, you can, and I found this helpful, is you can pick less crowded gym times and you can ask the people that run the place, when is it less crowded here? You don't have to, but it's kind of nice because, you're less likely to have to wait for equipment. There's just not as many people crowding you out around. And again, it depends on the gym. If it's enormous, maybe it doesn't matter. If it's a smaller gym like mine, it's nice to know when you have a little bit more, you don't feel so rushed to get on the equipment and hurry up and get off the equipment, especially if you're trying to figure out how to use the equipment, right? You sit down there and it takes you like a minute just to figure out what to do or put the weights on it or take them off. You get fast at that stuff after you do it for a while. But originally it's kind of nice to just be able to not feel pressure like, oh, that person's clearly waiting for me to hurry up and do this. So less crowded gym times is always a good one. Also, I'd recommend going in prepared. In other words, on your phone, whether you have an app like I do, I pay for a program called, it's through Haley Happens Fitness. The one I'm doing right now is called Power Happens. I'm doing the intermediate one, and it's all in an app, and it works great. It's a great app. But anyway, so I have that on my phone, but if you have a free one on YouTube, maybe you found a free workout you want to do, just have it up on your phone, have it ready. But more than that, even before you go into the gym, maybe you're just sitting in your car before you go into the gym, just open the program and just take a look at it. So you kind of know where you're going to be going, what section of the gym you're going to you're going to go to, and that sort of thing. And that way you just don't feel like, you just feel like things run a little more smoothly when you're in there because you have everything you need at your fingertips. That's a really helpful thing to do. And by the way, I have created a super cute little checklist for you that outlines all these tips. So if that will be helpful to you, you can grab it in the link below the video. Okay, one of the other things that you want to think about is appearance-wise, like what do you want to wear? And it's really important to be comfortable in what you wear, just physically comfortable in what you wear. But also it's nice to sort of feel good about what you're wearing too, right? So and I'm not saying spend a lot of money on something cute, that's not what I mean, but I'm just saying you want to be comfortable. That's first and foremost, physically comfortable. Second of all, if there's something you're like, I love this t-shirt, I'm wearing this super cute t-shirt because it just makes me feel good. Or maybe some people like to be in really baggy things. That's how they prefer. That's fine. If that's how they want to do it. A lot of us I love my cotton, mostly cotton tights. They're like a second skin. They're so comfortable, but I think they're cute too. And I wear, different little tank tops or whatever. It's something you feel good in is always a bonus. It's just kind of fun, right? It's like, oh, I get to, where else am I going to wear these clothes besides in my house, other than if I go to the gym? So it gives you an opportunity to maybe buy a cute little, shirt, a little top or tights or something that makes it even just a little more fun, because you're not probably going to wear those running around in the streets. Although I have to say I've been known to wear these going around in the street, or some version of these. But anyway, that's beside the point. The other thing is if it's cool weather outside and gyms are air conditioned and all that, so it's a good idea to wear layers if you're going to be going from cold to, like going out in the cold and stuff like that. You want to be able in the gym to strip down to a tank top or something, because you do get hot, after a while. Like I start out and I'll wear something like this over my tank top, or maybe even something lighter but long sleeve over my tank top, and I'm taking it off pretty quickly. So layers is always good for your top parts, 2 or 3 layers, depending on what the temperatures are outside and stuff like that. And as far as like hair and makeup go, honestly, at least at my gym, I know, again, there are different gyms where some gyms are all about showing up and showing out. You know what I mean? Like you are dressed and you got your hair and your makeup, you're looking cute. There are some gyms like that, and that's okay. My gym is not like that. My gym is like show up as you are. Everybody's doing their own thing. There's all kinds of different fitness levels and ages of people, and so I love that. But again, so do what feels good to you. If you want to show up in full hair and makeup, do it. It doesn't matter if anybody else is doing it or not. If you want to show up with a ponytail and no makeup, which is what I do a lot of the time, do that too. Whatever works for you. Again, when you do your gym walk-arounds, that's a good thing to look at. Is everybody like dressed in hair and makeup when they come in here and work out or not? So just something to think about. So I do have 3 more tips to share with you, and plus I want to share sort of what the biggest surprise was to me in this whole thing. But before I do that, if you've been enjoying this content so far, I would really appreciate it if you would give it a like, and also if you want to hear more content around holistic self-care for women over 50, be sure to subscribe, okay? I think the really important thing is, when you're there, don't worry about what other people are thinking of you. Honestly, people are there doing their own thing. Like most people are they don't care. They're interested in what they're doing and all of that, what's going on with themselves. And even if somebody is looking at you too much or whatever, who cares? I mean, honestly, who cares at the end of the day? So you just go about your business and stay focused on your goal, while you're there and what you're accomplishing that day. And don't worry with what other people think, seriously, about what you're wearing or what you're doing, or, oh my God, I'm only lifting 10 pounds and they're lifting, 100, or who cares? I mean, seriously, just focus on your own stuff and you will enjoy yourself so much more. Anyways, that's a big one. And also be sure to enjoy this distraction-free me time, right? Like that is your time to take care of yourself and focus on yourself, and you're not doing your work, and you're not taking care of your house, or you're not taking care of your family. Like you're just taking care of you. And so that is your me time. And once you really learn to think about it that way, you are going to really appreciate it. I'll tell you what the biggest surprise has been for me in all of this is I knew that when I started down this road, I would get comfortable. Again, by the time I worked out at home for 5 months and then I decided to go to the gym, I was already way more confident and comfortable. But it took me going a few times before I really kind of settled in. And it felt like, okay, I understand this place. I got the lay of the land, and I'm really enjoying being here. But what surprised me is that I actually, after that little initial period of kind of getting settled in, I look forward to going to the gym. I actually want to go to the gym, and I never expected that. I thought, I know I'll get comfortable with going to the gym, but as far as actually wanting to go to the gym and being happy to show up at the gym, I did not think that would ever be a thing necessarily. Now, granted, there are days where it's like, oh gosh, this is hard getting myself to go. We all have those days, but overall, I look forward to my gym workouts. And usually, especially even if I'm physically I'm just after work was usually when I go, or on the weekends, and I will just think, oh, I don't feel like doing it right now. Of course, to me, it's doesn't matter if I feel like it. I'm going to do it anyway. It doesn't matter how I feel, unless I'm sick, obviously. But so I drag myself there. But the good thing is once I walk in, I get out of the car, I walk in the door, I go get on the treadmill, and I just do a super light warm up for 5 minutes. Now I've got the shift happened. Now I'm in it. Now I'm good to go. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So that has been a true joy. it has been really nice to have that happen. So anyway, I hope you found all this helpful, and if you're interested in how I got started with strength training at the age of 58, I'm going to go ahead and link to that up here so you can check it out. It's also linked down below the video. But other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.